Blog Talk Radio.
Are you ready? The champ is here! It's just a man! Give me a hell yeah! What the rock is cooking? To be the man, you have to be the man! Big bubble pump! If you hooked up!
Falling!
Holla! If you ever! Woo, woo, woo! Cup of coffee in the big game.
Hey, welcome to Working the Marks. I'm your host, the producer Dee Rotten. I'm also here with the star of the show, Patrick Rivera, aka Patty Rican.
Whoa! Don't be dropping my government name out there.
I had to pull that, man. I'm sorry,
man. I've done it to you plenty of times. So,
but yeah, this is a sad day, my brother. It's a sad day, man. We're here, the passing of one of the greatest minds in the business, the eater of worlds, Bray Wyatt, aka Wyndham Rotunda.
Yeah, sad day. I mean, look, I'll be honest right now. I'm not gonna fake the funk. I wasn't always the biggest Bray Wyatt fan. I thought that he was a very creative guy visually. I thought that he had a great mind for hooking people in, but I wasn't the biggest fan. And irregardless of that fact, it's sad to see a guy his age pass away so young. And
36 years old, man.
And not only that, but like I think he was on the verge of a comeback soon. But just really, really unfortunate to see. He seemed like he was a great guy, like he was a very well liked guy backstage. He seemed like the fans liked him a lot, and to see somebody that young pass away, and the fact that they had some good years, but their best years were really ahead of them. It's really, really unfortunate, and especially on the heels of the passing of Terry Funk yesterday as well, which we had talked about on yesterday's episode of Working the Marks, which you can check out as well. That's online. But this is just a sad one and a shocker, man. Definitely a shocker for sure.
What was I doing? I think I was just going through YouTube and I watched this guy called Sean's View, wrestling podcaster, and it just Bray Wyatt passes away like news. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, hold on, man. Then you go down the rabbit hole, bro, and it's just like, you got to be fucking kidding me, dude. Like this guy was supposed to be back next pay-per-view. Like
I was actually playing,
Survivor Series.
I was playing a pool game. I was in the middle of a pool game, and I got out and went to go check my phone, and I see that he had passed, and a bunch of people. I had actually gotten a message from a friend of the show, Gabe Baez, telling me like, hey, you seen what happened? And, various other friends of ours. And yeah, man, it was just really, really shocking, man. Really, really shocking to see. But, again, a guy that I think had his best years ahead of him. I think that, there was a lot of potential there. I think that, he left a lot on the table, I think, because of how young he was. But my first thoughts obviously are with his family, with his kids, with his wife. Not easy, man.
Four
not
children.
Easy.
Four children, bro.
Yeah. Not easy at all. And it's an unfortunate thing that happens. It really, really is. And he was just pictured recently too. I think he was signing some autographs somewhere. I believe it was at like an airport or something or somewhere.
Yeah.
There were some fans that had seen him, and he had signed some autographs. He had talked to them for a little bit, and again, I mean, the guy seemed like a really cool dude. He seemed like a really down to earth person. And in a business that's filled with a lot of larger than life characters and egos, he seemed like a perfect balance between the two.
I mean, his father was, Mike Rotunda,
Well, yeah, I mean, he had it in his blood, that's for sure. And his brother, I liked Bo, man. Bo in NXT, especially in that early run of NXT, with the big X belt. You know, he was great. Bo Leave.
There's a rumor going around that they already said it. They were like Captain Howdy was Bo.
Well, we'll see. I mean, from what I understand and from what I'm reading and what's coming out now, you know, from various dirt sheets, all the plans for SmackDown have been scrapped. And, you know, to me, it seems like they're just going to do a tribute episode for him. And it's also a lot of the focus is on JoJo and the kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, WWE has made it very clear that they're going to take care of the family. So that's really cool on their part. But yeah, man, a bit of a shocker for sure, man. And you know, here's the thing, whether people liked it or not, whether people were fans of his or the gimmicks or anything, he was memorable. He's memorable, you know.
He was supposed to be the next Undertaker.
Yeah, you know, he definitely had the spooky guy thing on Lockdown. You know, he was the big spooky guy on TV, and
he had that swag, man.
He did it, you know, he did it well. He sold a fucking ton of merchandise. You know, for me personally, like I said, I wasn't a fan necessarily of the wrestling. But he as a character and he has a mind for the business, dude was very creative. Very creative. And, you know, sometimes it was a little convoluted, it was a little strange, it was a little weird, but I think we needed that. Right, I think wrestling needed that. You know, I think
you had the 3 faces of Foley and you had the 4 faces of fucking Wyatt.
Yeah. You know, I mean, you know, again, like he was a guy I think that really pushed the envelope and really understood things that most people didn't understand. I mean, you know, and again, you're looking at tons of people posting stuff. What's up?
He look at the lineage he comes from. He comes from the Rotundas and he comes from Barry Windham's family.
Yeah, man. I mean, you know,
what was Wyndham's father? Blackjack, or was it? What was his
It was. I know that he's related to Blackjack Mulligan. You know, I think it's that whole family.
That's the grandpa.
Yeah. So I mean, like, you know, again, dude, you're talking about a guy that was born to be in the biz. You know, he was born to be a star. He was born to be on that big stage, man. And again, I think he managed to take these characters and make them very memorable in their own way. You know, I know, you know, myself and the professor, he's not with us tonight. But the professor, you know, he and I have talked about Bray Wyatt quite a lot, and both of us aren't the biggest Bray Wyatt fans, if we're being honest. You know, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I was this guy's fan now that he passed away. It's unfortunate that he passed away. It's sad to see a human being that young pass away. But I understood his purpose, and what he did very, very well. Whether I was a fan of it or not, or anybody else is a fan of it or not, he did it very, very well. And he was lucrative for the company. He sold a ton of merch.
Those damn dolls, bro, fucking were selling out.
And look, he created a very memorable character. A very, very memorable character. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, the what is it? The
cult, the cult leader,
the funhouse thing. You know, like all that shit, like
Pee Wee's Playhouse. I mean,
all that stuff that he did. You know, those videos, that match with John Cena at WrestleMania. You know, that cinematic match that they had. That was, to me, that was better than their other WrestleMania match. You know, but I think he was more prepared to be in that position than anything else.
Mentally, yes.
Yeah, but you know, this is a guy that I think years from now, aspiring wrestlers, even young wrestlers now that are in the business, they're going to study this guy. They're going to watch his stuff, because I think at the end of the day, what he left was a benchmark for creativity and for possibility.
He was supposed to come back with another face. Was it going to be like the 5th face of Wyatt?
Who knows what was going to come? But that was the thing with him. You didn't really know what you were going to get with him. You know, I remember seeing him as Husky Harris when he was on NXT, when he was in developmental.
Oh, what was that the faction he was in? What was that?
The Nexus. But Nexus. This is way before that. This is like when he first got to TV, when they had just taken that developmental program and they had just made it like a TV show, you know, on Tuesdays. And you saw the Wyndham family lineage. You saw the Rotundas. You saw everything in him. You saw it. It was evident. You know, he came out in the cowboy boots. He was a big boy. You could see that. You could see that he was a lineman. You could see that he was a football player. You could see that he was very athletic. Great cross body block. All the stuff that he did, like he was, he was good in that. But the character itself was just not. There was nothing there. There was nothing there.
It was a job.
And, yeah, it wasn't happening for him at the time. And I think once he kind of started experimenting, found his niche with his character and then kind of started evolving with it, he ended up where he ended up with The Fiend. And I think that and all the other iterations of his character along the way have been incredibly memorable.
I mean, you have to be at a certain level for the WWE to change the heavyweight title to what you want. I mean, they didn't change it for just anybody.
Well, you got to be able to move merch.
Yeah.
that's really what it is. You got to move merch.
His mind, body, and soul was one. You had the glow.
I mean, now you see these guys getting these, these memorial titles or these tribute titles and stuff like that. But like back in the day, it was what? Steve, Rocky. That's it.
Yeah.
And then Bray Wyatt years later.
Cena had the spinner.
Cena had the spinner, yeah, but then that just became the belt. That just became the big belt, for that time period. But I mean, like, this dude made them make a custom belt. Him and Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, remember, he had the eco-friendly title.
Two of the best belts.
Yeah, and again, two very creative, talented guys. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, dude, it's unfortunate to see. And I think back of so many of his matches with the Wyatt family. I think back about so many of those matches.
Bro,
the Wyatt family versus the Shield. Like, those matches were fucking great. Those 6-mans, they were fucking great.
I mean, their entrance, bro, just with the fucking everybody putting up the friggin' the phones. The Fireflies.
You look at the guys you had. You had Brody Lee. You had Bray Wyatt. You had Eric Rowan. Say what you will, the guy does his fucking job and does it well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had on the other side, Moxley, Ambrose, whatever you want to call them, Rollins, and Roman. Those 6 guys going in there, beating the piss out of each other.
Yep.
And tearing down the fucking house. And for all you fans out there that are watching this, for all you people who are wrestling fans, go back and watch those matches. Revisit those 6-man matches with the Wyatt family against the Shield.
That was
Classics.
Big money.
Classics, man. But I think for him, really, like, the way for me he personally shined was in a lot of those 6-man matches and a lot of the character work that they did to get it to that point. The Fiend, he made that shit work for him. He really did. He made it work for him. And
what's the old saying? You took chicken shit and made it into chicken salad.
Yeah. I just think that, like, even for as much as we got from him, we never really got like everything, because he had to take a lot of time off in these last couple of years.
A lot of mental health breaks,
mental health breaks, because of John Huber passing.
When your best friend passed away, bro, that fucks you up.
Sure, man. It's no joke, man. Losing a loved one, a close person, in your life, it's impactful, WWE recognized that. They gave him the time. They let him do his thing. They let him get it together, and then he had his kids. He was with his family. He did that. But, it kind of just seemed like there was a lot of hiccups along the way, I think, to getting him back to TV. Yeah. And even when they did get him on TV, I don't think we really got everything we could have gotten. But even with what we got, I think it was a lot.
It still felt like something was being held back a little bit,
Yeah. And look, that's for a variety of reasons. We don't know. We can sit here, we can speculate now. We can look at all of the details involved. I think at the end of the day, however it is, for tonight, let's look back on his career and remember the good things that he contributed to the business. Remember the good stuff that he did. Remember the great promos that he cut.
Yeah.
Remember, the big surprises that he had. All that stuff. Remember that. Because
I mean, he turned
That's
Daniel
that.
Bryan.
That's
He
yeah,
turned Randy Orton. It's like,
dude. I mean, when Brian was in the Wyatt family and they did that, that was a fucking hot angle, man.
yeah,
He was in a lot of big hot angles. You know,
heavyweight champion.
as a champion, yeah. For me personally, I don't think it was all that great,
I think
but
his next one would have been better. His next one would have been better.
I would hope so. I would hope so, man. But I think it's that, I just can't imagine how hard it is, right? To be not only a wrestler on national TV, but to be a big star on national TV.
That's insane. I couldn't imagine that. Couldn't
It's a
imagine,
lot.
bro.
It's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, you think of musicians, right? You think of Kurt Cobain.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Cobain had the fucking world by the balls at one point, right?
Yeah.
And that was a lot for him. That was a lot for him to deal with, And I think for it's easy for us to sit here and to speculate and to say, hey, it would be great if we had this. It would be great if we had that.
Yeah.
But we don't know until we fucking have it. And I can't imagine how demanding that must be for a person. And, at the end of the day, it's like there's some people that are cut out for that. And there's some people that aren't. Hulk Hogan was cut out for being that. He was cut out for being that guy. Say what you will about him.
Ric Flair.
He was that guy. Ric Flair was that
Rock,
guy.
Stone Cold.
At their own detriment, at their own destruction, their own self-destruction. I mean, there was guys that were just meant for that. John Cena, he was meant for that. You know what I'm saying? But then there's other guys that you look at that were great, that were good, that could have been in that spot, but mentally they might not have been cut out for that. Some people would argue that Shawn Michaels wasn't.
The Ultimate Warrior.
Ultimate Warrior wasn't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys that are in that conversation, right? That you could say.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy for us to say, but when you have that responsibility, when you have that on your back, that you have to go out there and you have to perform at a top level and you have to be that guy consistently over a period of time, it can weigh on you.
But what's the old saying? You won't understand me unless you take a walk a mile in my shoes,
Yeah. Heavy is the crown, man. Heavy is the fucking crown. Heavy is the crown, Everybody wants to be a star. Everybody wants to be that big name. Everybody wants to do that thing. But when you get there, it's a whole other fucking story.
Yep.
Because now you got to run with that fucking thing and you got to make it work. And your face is the responsible face for that. It's a tough task, man.
You can't fuck up one bit, bro.
No. So when you're dealing with all of that, all that pressure, all that internal pressure, and that's external pressure, but you have that internal pressure in your fucking head, okay? And you're dealing with that. That can weigh on you, man. That can weigh on you, Look, I know there's going to be people that are going to say that they could have booked them better. They could have done this better. They could have done that better. Maybe. But I think that they did the best they could with what they had available to them.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about everybody involved.
I mean,
not just the WWE, not just the booking committee, but Bray Wyatt too.
Look at what he did when he was fighting the Undertaker, bro. The guy had to wrap his ankle up because what was it, swollen or something or sprained, and he still went out there and he did the best he could.
It's tough, man. It's tough. It's not an easy business, and I think some people are everybody's different, man. Everybody processes those things differently. Mm-hmm. But man, it's again, it's an unfortunate situation. It's a really, really unfortunate situation.
I'm gonna pull something up right here, bro. This is Sean Ross Sapp. This is his Instagram, not Instagram. Sorry, his Twitter handle page. And read you a little something here. I was given permission to reveal that earlier this year, Wyndham Rotunda, aka Bray Wyatt, got COVID that exacerbated a heart issue. There was a lot of positive progress towards a return and his recovery. Unfortunately, today he suffered a heart attack and passed away. That was off of Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful.com. That was his.
And look, normally I wouldn't believe something that Sean Ross Sapp puts out, and that's no offense to him. He has his hustle, he does his thing. But for me personally, there's a lot of things that he puts out there that are kind of suspicious at times. But this is obviously a different situation. He spoke directly with the family. This is what the family's saying. You saw Triple H put out a statement.
Booker
You know,
T,
I
Booker
think.
T was doing his podcast live
Wow.
when that happened live.
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
They took like a 15-minute break, man.
I can imagine, because Booker probably, you know, worked with him at some point and, you know, and met him and talked to him. But Timothy Brown, nice to see you with us again tonight. Yeah, definitely a sad day with the loss of Terry Funk yesterday and now Bray Wyatt today. Man, I'm kind of afraid about tomorrow. I mean, who the hell is it going to be tomorrow? I mean, but this isn't just so unfortunate, you know. I mean, and look, you know, you can compare both in a way, because Terry Funk meant a lot to wrestling and to wrestling fans. But, you know, Terry Funk was 79 years old. You know, he lived a very, very long life,
fruitful life.
And I'm not diminishing his passing in any kind of way. Don't get me twisted here, and don't think that's what I mean. But, you know, Terry was 79, Bray Wyatt's 36. You know, he's a baby still, man. Yep. He's a baby still, you know. Both are obviously very sad, but this is just, you really feel for him, especially because you know that he has young kids, and, you know, again, he's a young guy. And you know, he was making his way back. He was working on making his way back to the ring.
I mean, look at what it, like, from Husky Harris to this. You know, he lost all the weight, got his weight up and everything, you know, got all his muscle. You know, he fixed him, came back.
Yeah.
Fixed everything up.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. He really put in the work to put himself in the position to come back. And again, it's just sad to see. It really, really is, especially because he's so young.
And the heart is a strange muscle, man. It's a very strange muscle. They don't
It
know.
is, man. It is. And look, you know, for all you people, if you want to become conspiracy theorists about COVID and all this other, I mean, save it for another fucking show. All right, go on some forum somewhere else. What we're doing here is we're talking about Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt's life, and we're celebrating his life and what he had contributed to wrestling. You know, whether you like him or not, irrelevant. We're talking about this man, what he gave to the business. You want to talk about something else, take it somewhere else. We're not going to acknowledge that shit. So just FYI. But what we're doing here is just paying our respects to him. And, you know, we're talking about the facts involved here. And it appears that he had a heart condition and COVID did exacerbate it. And look, I mean, you know, we all know what COVID did. We've all been alive. None of us have been under a fucking rock for the last couple of years. We understand the situation. No. And again, it affects people differently. So, you know, if you have a pre-existing condition and this is how you feel, you know, and you know, or if you have a pre-existing condition and you get sick with COVID, it could affect you differently than somebody else. You know,
everybody's different. Everybody's body is different.
And unfortunately, it affected him that way. So, yeah, man, it's a very, very sad situation. What matches stick out for you, D, you know, in his career? Because I mean, I had mentioned earlier that, you know, his 6-man tags, I was a really, really big fan of his with the Wyatt family taking on the Shield. And, you know, for all you people out there that are watching this and listening right now, feel free to drop in your comments as well. Any Bray Wyatt matches, any memories you have, you know, please throw them in there. We'd love to talk about him. We'd love to celebrate his life. So for Roa, we did discuss it. It was revealed that it was a heart attack. He had suffered a heart attack. He had a pre-existing heart condition. It was exacerbated by COVID when he had been sick. He had gotten sick earlier in February and he was working his way back to coming back, and he suffered a heart attack today. And this was confirmed by Mike Rotunda, aka IRS, earlier today to Sean Ross Sapp, from his direct family. So, I mean, this is as good a news source as you can really get on this. But again, very, very sad to see. But D, what were some of your favorite matches from Bray's career?
Like you said, bro, and I'm not gonna fucking sugarcoat anything. I wasn't really a big Bray Wyatt fan, you know. I mean, I come from the fucking days of Lex Luger and shit, you know. So I'm like, those are my kind of guys, man. But Bray Wyatt, man, you know, I mean, not just his matches, bro. I mean, he just did some trippy shit, you know. He really did some trippy shit, like when he first, you know, did the whole Exorcist shit, you know. walked on like back. I was like, what the fuck is this dude doing?
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, you're gonna give the fucking guy a heart attack, dude. You're not gonna pin him. You're gonna scare him to death, man. You know?
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
but
man.
I did enjoy the John Cena matches, and you know, I'm not to fucking sound like a dick, but I really think that's just my opinion. I really think he should have beat Cena at Mania. Because I mean,
Well, he did. He did though. I mean, I think you're referring to what, WrestleMania 30?
I'm talking about the one where his like it's like his momentum got.
Yeah, it was 30. It was 30. You were talking about 30. I mean, look, a lot of people are going to argue that he probably wasn't ready for that spot just yet. But for me,
it felt like Cena cut him from the legs now. But I mean, you know what? That's not Cena. That's the booking.
But it's not
That's
Cena's fault. Yeah.
Vince decides what goes on. You know, who the fuck am I going to tell a billionaire?
Well, a lot of the time too, they put them in those spots to see how they mesh with the big guys, to see if they're capable of being in those spots. You know, and I think he, you know, he proved that he could be there later on. And the cinematic match I just loved because of all the elements, you know, NWO Cena, all this crazy stuff. He went back to the thugonomics Cena. They had the SmackDown fist. He comes out with the little tights. I mean, it was just that match was so well done, so well produced, and it was very much in the vein of the Firefly Funhouse, you know, and what he was trying to do with that character. We had some memories here that just came up from some of the viewers here.
Yeah, Timmy said he comes from the generation of hope. Timmy's my boy from about back in the day. We used to do the wrestling, concrete wrestling, we call it.
Nice.
And Timmy, yeah, he comes back. We come from the generation of Hulk Hogan and Savage, man, in the 80s, you know, the big boys, big guys.
Yeah, he had also, I think he had mentioned something else about Bray Wyatt with the Boogeyman.
Oh yeah. His favorite match was Bray Wyatt with the Boogeyman at the Royal Rumble.
Yeah. See, like interactions like that they had with him in the character, I just thought was so cool. You know, like the way they were able to mix it up, the way that they were able to get him in there. But I mean, for a character like this, it was just such a huge gamble because it could either go really, really well and be really, really creative, or it just wouldn't work with everybody. Like, you know, we had heard recently that he was supposed to work with Brock Lesnar a few times, and Brock kind of put the kibosh on that. And then they tried to do it again, and Brock just wasn't buying it. But, you know, I was listening. I think it was Keeping It 100. Conan and Disco were talking about this as well, because this had come up as well with them. And they had kind of said, like, you know, it doesn't work because who's Brock Lesnar going to be intimidated by? You know, it's fucking Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's Brock Lesnar gets intimidated by nobody.
Yeah, exactly.
Not even the IRS.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, you know, it's a whole different scenario. You know what I mean? And it doesn't work for every character. You know what I mean? It doesn't work for every character and every individual. But again, at the end of the day, you can say what you want, you know, whether you liked him or you're not, or you didn't. Bray Wyatt was a very talented and creative individual. He contributed a lot to the business. And like I said earlier, in this, you know, episode that we've had, you know, here, this special episode for Bray Wyatt, unfortunately, you know, because of his passing, he will be remembered and he will be studied by future generations. And I think what I said was, you know, he had created a benchmark here.
Yeah,
for future wrestlers, for their creativity to shine and for them to go to that weird place and do that fucking thing that nobody understands. He kind of set the benchmark for that. And I think because of him, wrestling in the future and these types of characters and these types of gimmicks, these types of creative personalities.
He brought back that 80s feel.
He did.
No?
He made it, you know, he made it larger than life. He combined a lot of things. I think he borrowed from a lot of guys, but he put it together. He created this amalgamation of personality. And I think he was able to sell this in so many different ways. And like I said, I think he's going to be, you know, remembered for years to come. Tim also responded with, I'll be watching Friday Night SmackDown. Yeah. So, funny you mentioned SmackDown there, Tim. SmackDown, all the plans as reported now by all the various dirt sheet sites are being scrapped completely. So anything that they were doing that was, you know, continuing an angle, they're going to scrap that for this week. Yeah. And in all probability, they're going to have a memorial episode for him. They're probably going to feature some of his friends that are in the company as well, probably bring out his family. So we don't know just yet. We don't know what's going to happen. Everything's scrapped as of now. But obviously they're going to pay a lot of respect to him and to Terry Funk as well too. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but this one, I think, because
we're on Wyatt's from Texas too, or no?
He's from Florida. He's from Florida. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, he's from Florida.
Okay.
But he's
got the roots in Texas though, as well.
The other half of his family. Yeah.
Okay.
But I think, at the end of the day, man, his dad's actually from New York, if I'm not mistaken, or he wrestled in New York.
Yeah, I think so.
Syracuse, if I'm not mistaken. But
the Varsity Club.
The Varsity Club. That's right. That's right. I think they're gonna have a special tribute episode for him on Friday, and obviously it's gonna be pretty emotional. You're gonna have a lot of the talent there, and yeah, man, just really, really unfortunate to see. And again, our condolences here from Working the Marks go out to Bray Wyatt's family. Can't imagine what you're going through, especially his children. And it's really, really sad to see such a young man, passing away.
Yeah.
And especially when he was really on the verge of potentially giving us his best stuff. So
he was on the verge of making a big comeback. He was on the verge of getting married again. I mean,
but regardless of all that, man, memorable character. Because when you're going to think back to this decade, you're going to think back to the last decade. He's going to be one of the guys that's going to come up, always. And again, I think he's going to be a guy that years from now, and probably even now already, younger wrestlers are going to be studying him and are going to be, borrowing some of him, and you're going to see him immortalized in years to come. So
I would have loved to have seen. Well, remember he did the tag team with Matt Hardy. The
the Leader of Worlds. Yes, yeah, the Leader of Worlds. Yeah, see, like that was cool. I like that. I liked when he did.
That's some shit you thought you would never see the Delete guy and this dude come together. It's like, what the fuck?
and even the Danielson thing. I mean, like the way he made that work, Danielson looked like a janitor with the cutoff sleeves on the fucking uniform, but they made it work, and it was so awesome. And even the LA Knight match. I mean, Uribe, he also talks about this as well. He thought it was garbage. Yeah. I think because it wasn't a 5-star classic, or it wasn't really anything like that. It was memorable. It was great because it was memorable. It was great because it was memorable. And again, that's a match that people are going to talk about. And more importantly, it was creative, man. It was creative. The glow in the dark element, all the stuff that they were doing, that's creative shit, man. So that's stuff that's going to live.
Man. He took chicken shit and made chicken salad.
Yeah, man. So, again, because I know we're gonna probably cut out here soon.
We got about 10 minutes.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, man, very, very unfortunate to see.
And his brother was supposed to come back with the gimmick, right? Wasn't his brother Captain Howdy, or that's the thing?
There was talks about that stuff. I don't think anything was ever really truly confirmed, but still, it's just sad, man. It's just sad to see a young dude pass away. And especially when all of his best years were really ahead of him, and it's unfortunate. What would you have liked to seen him do?
I would have liked to know either another heavyweight title run, or did he ever go against a Demon?
That's always something that I always kind of wondered about. I don't know if they had him against Finn, but I don't think they ever did him in the Demon. Him in the Demon. No. And that would have been kind of cool. That would have been interesting.
Or make them a tag team. Get them a tag team run. Demon and the Fiend.
Yeah, exactly. I think that would have been cool. There's a lot of things that they could have done. They could have put him with Grayson Waller. They could have given Rollins another chance at working with him again. They could have done a lot of
nice
little
run. Before WrestleMania, have him go against the Fiend for a little bit.
Yeah, man. I think that would have been interesting. But
or him and Cody.
I just think that with this character too, it also, you have to be very specific where you put it. Yeah, Cody would have been interesting. Yep. Him and Cody would have been interesting. Yeah, that's right. That would have been cool, because I think Cody's character and just the way he is, it would have been fascinating to see what would have come of that. But yeah, I definitely think the Fiend match would have been something huge. Had they done it, and maybe him and Cody, as well. But again, very, very, very unfortunate to see, and especially on the eve of Terry Funk's passing as well. and just to see such a young guy, man, go out so young. All of his best years were really ahead of him, and he could have given a lot more in the future. But again, from everybody here at Working the Marks, Famcast Media, all of our thoughts.
Just remember, folks, man, like I said before, life is short. If you love somebody, tell them you fucking love them, hug them, do everything, man, because tomorrow is not fucking promised. Tomorrow is not promised.
Yeah, man. It's go do that thing you want to do, man.
Yeah, you want to surf, you want to fucking, scuba
Whatever
dive,
it
you want
is.
to do whatever, do it.
You want to make a movie, you want to write an album, you want to go learn how to dance, play guitar.
You think that hot
Go
chick won't like you? Try talking to her, bro. Something.
Go for it, because here today, gone tomorrow, like that.
Exactly.
And life is short. So that's why whenever D sees me, he always gives me a hug and tells me he loves me. Because,
Exactly, bro.
he understands that life is short. So
Life is short, man. Too short.
But yeah, man, really, 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 really sad news. And again, from everybody at Famcast Media, Working the Marks, all of our thoughts and our condolences go to Bray Wyatt's family, Wyndham Rotunda's family. May he rest in peace. Yeah, so really sad to see, but enjoy Bray Wyatt's matches, people. Go on Peacock, check it out.
Yeah.
Watch his stuff on YouTube, man.
Buy the merch. Buy the merch, man. Get the family.
Buy the merch.
Help the family out. Buy merch.
Yeah, as a fan of Bray Wyatt, and for all you Bray Wyatt fans out there, buy the merch, buy whatever they're going to do to help out JoJo, to help out the family. It's already being said that they're taking care of them. So,
Yeah. When Vince says that, bro, he don't play games.
Nah, man. It's, this is a pretty serious thing. So, and I'm sure that there'll be plenty of tributes at All In this weekend as well, because there's obviously a lot of talent in AEW that were friends of his.
AEW they've put something up on Facebook and Twitter already.
Yeah,
speaking very highly of Mr. Wyatt.
Of course, man. Of course, he was a guy that was very well liked in the business and very well respected by his peers.
I don't think he had any enemies.
I don't think he did, man. I really don't think he did. I think he was a chill dude. I think he just wanted to do his thing, and
all chubby guys have friends. No enemies. All chubby guys have friends.
Oh man. Yeah, man. So, very, very, very sad to see, but again, condolences to the Wyatt family. Yeah, D. Just really, really, really sad to be here for this, unfortunately. And
I thought yesterday was bad.
Yeah, no, yesterday was a bummer, but this is bad, but this is bad in a different way, and very, very sad. So yeah, man. But yeah, folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting and showing some love on here. Give us a shout out, give us a follow, throw us up in your stories, whatever you want to do. We're on all socials. Share these videos when they come out. And yeah, man, thank you for chiming in. Timothy Brown, thank you for chiming in. Yeah, the Nexus members should be there. Hopefully they will be there tomorrow night on SmackDown. But yeah, very, very sad to be here tonight for this. And yeah, we certainly will remember Bray Wyatt and what he's contributed to the business. So with that being said, he's Dee Rotten. I'm Patty Reekin. Rest in peace, Wyndham Rotunda, and our deepest condolences and thoughts to your family. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a good night.
Famcast Media.